September 30th, 1949. China is China. And then, on October 1st, 1949, Mao Zedong proclaimed China the People's Republic of China. In fear of Mao, 600,000 nationalist troops and 2 million national sympathizer refugees retreated to the island of Taiwan. And now we have Olivia Anderson live on the scene of the fleeing refugees. I'm live on the scene where people are fleeing to Taiwan from the People's Republic of China. Oh, look! Here's one now! Sir! What are you fleeing from?
Mao.
What happened here?
Mao.
And what are you bringing with you?
Mao.
Okay, people, it looks like the problem here is Mao. Oh, we have a dog in the race. Oh no, cut. This communist revolution in China, better known as the War of Liberation, is clearly not a war of liberation. By the end of the war, Korea remained divided between communist North and non-communist South. The division line never really moved, and it was considered a successful defense of South Korean territory. The North Koreans were angry and decided to destroy the North and replace it with the People's Republic. The war never really ended.
And Soviet representatives failed to successfully negotiate peace.
Via talks in Switzerland. So, peace. About that peace in Korea. Let me Instagram that. Stay. Wait. I'm gonna get like so many likes on that. There were 4 million casualties, with a third of China's industry destroyed and a half of the homes. The ultimate outcome was a truce, or a ceasefire, with no actual victor. Ceasefire! Okay. The rise of Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh fashioned the Democratic Republic of Vietnam in 1945 and wrote a Declaration of Independence that stated, "All men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." During a cruel land reform after Ho became president of North Vietnam, an estimated 50,000 North Vietnamese citizens lost their lives. Between 50,000 and 100,000 were imprisoned, and their freedom of speech was now restricted. Ho Chi Minh engaged in a long conflict with France, followed by pre-World War II Japan, post-World War II France, and then with the United States. Ho Chi Minh would not see his lifelong dream of the reunification of North and South Vietnam under a single rule before his death in 1969.
Did you know there's a battle called the Battle of Bien Dien Phu?
No, it's Bien Dien Phu.
That's what I said. Bien Dien Phu.
No, not Phu. Phu.
What even is it?
Basically, the Battle of Dien Bien Phu was from March 13th to May 7th, 1954. It was the French versus the Viet Minh, and it was a precursor to the Vietnam War. The First Indochina War was going really poorly for the French, and when the Viet Minh forces destroyed French opposition and returned some of the country's land and pride, it was over.
French soldiers were forced to leave Vietnam after their defeat. During negotiations, it was decided that Vietnam would be split at the 17th parallel. Boom.
Yeah, Professor Vibert, I heard something on the news about this stuff. It's about Domino's pizzas or something.
What? Domino theory.
Yeah, sure. What is that stuff?
Well, it was associated with Eisenhower in 1954, and he called Southeastern Asia a row of dominoes. This was later applied in Southeast Asia by both Kennedy and Johnson. Once Korea began invading the South, Truman and his administration quickly implemented the NSC-68 proposals. The main idea was the economies of the U.S. and the West could not afford to lose more population, territory, and resources to the other side. This was also furthered by John Foster Dulles. As you can see in our beautiful map sources, the finest, We can see here that we have Vietnam as the danger zone. Vietnam, danger zone.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And
there,
this
Professor.
area represents Indochina and Southeast Asia as a whole. Is this clear? And don't pay attention to that.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what's that thing over there?
It is Australia, which is not relevant.
Oh, okay. Thank you for answering my questions.
I hope I cleared things up for you.
Yeah, very much so. I do have questions about Australia though now.
Good evening. On tonight, November 2nd, 1963, I unfortunately announced that Ngo Diem of South Vietnam has died. Let's take a look back on Diem's life, shall we? We shall. Diem, opposed to both the French and the Communists, was appointed as Prime Minister of South Vietnam in 1954 after the Geneva Accords. As a Roman Catholic, a devout Roman Catholic, his regime grew increasingly brutal, and this led to the alienation of the Buddhist population, while support from the Viet Cong increased. Diem and U.S. feared that the Communists would win such elections, so Diem announced that elections would not be held shortly after he gained power. Diem's troops found it impossible to combat Communist guerrillas, and the U.S. continued to supply Diem with massive military Communist victory. It is unknown whether the U.S. supported the assassination of Diem earlier today.
Those Viet Cong, they're impossible to combat.
That Viet Cong life. Pew, pew! We fucked up. Guerrilla warfare. In Bangkok. This is the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization, or SEATO. It is collective defense in the Southeast Asian area, which is similar to the Northern Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, which is collective defense in that area. It is bilateral defense and was primarily forced behind by the U.S. Where am I reading? It targeted containing communism in China, and as it was collective defense. I've said that 3 times. It was primarily to block the further communist gains in the Southeast Asian area, and it was generally considered a failure because of internal conflict and dispute that hindered the progress. It funded cultural and long-standing effects, but it was dissolved on June 30th, 1977.
Okay, man. So as you know, we've recently begun our search and destroy operations, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna be targeting like the guerrilla bases that we suspect to be of particularly high activity. So currently we know of bases here, here, and here, over here, and here. And so I'm gonna just sort of these for you guys. Here, here. Got some over here, here, and mostly here. And so what we'll be doing is we are going to try and remove all civilians of the area, transport them to our safer havens where they can continue to live in peace and relative safety, so as to keep them away from the battles and violence. And once they've been removed, we can thereby safely assume that all those left are supporters of the Viet Cong and go in and destroy everything. And that will be all. We'll be moving out tomorrow morning.
Truly inspiring work.
Thank you. Oh, what a lovely day it is here out on the waters off of the shore of northern Vietnam, thereby making them northern Vietnamese waters, technically. Oh, look at that. Are those North Vietnamese ships I see? Oh my god! You know what? Oh wasn't that bad. Oh no, the sun is setting. What an eventful day we had, sustaining minimal damage to our U.S. destroyer. It is now night, and the sun rises again, as our next day begins. What a boring day it was as the sun sets again. And now the sun rises again, 2 days from our eventful day of minimal attacks. And I wonder what will happen today. Oh no! We're here on the destroyer on the second day after the attacks on the first day 2 days ago. And we're totally under attack right now. We don't have any video of it, so just take my word as footage. Those sound effects are definitely real. We're in severe, there's danger. Ah!
I, Congresswoman Eunice Eichel, passed the Tonkin Resolution, giving President all necessary steps, including use of armed forces, to defend South Vietnam. Boom.
Check and mate. Bested you again, Jebediah. Oh, didn't see you there. As you can tell by my fancy attire and scholarly world literature, I am clearly your president, Lyndon B. Johnson. And what's that? Attacks on destroyers. North Vietnam, you say? Yeah, blow up the naval bases. I gotta get back to my book. Just throw some bombs at that shit.
There's a wrap for Asia from 1949 to 1964. When God